Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. In this session, we'll dive into exploring default values and optional parameters to add flexibility and adaptability to your code. Let's write a function that demonstrates the use of default values by writing a function to solve for the area of a rectangle or square. Super easy. So def calculate area, and I'll talk about what I'm doing here in a sec. So the logic is what you're familiar with, width times height to calculate area, and then we're returning the area. But if we go ahead and call the function without any parameters, let's see what we get. So we didn't put any parameters here, but the result is 1 because we put a default value of 1 and 1 for width and height. And just to show you without the use of these default values, that we can put any value for these parameters. So if we go ahead and do we're going to get the expected result of 15. 5 times 3 is 15. Although developers should be cautious when setting default values with mutable objects like lists or dictionaries, Python evaluates default arguments only once when the function is defined. If you use a mutable object as a default, subsequent calls to the function can lead to unexpected behavior because the default object is shared across all calls. To prevent this, you should use none as the default value. Then within the function, check if the argument is none. If it is, initialize it to a new empty mutable object. We'll explore that in an example later. In programming, you'll run into some functions where some arguments are absolutely necessary while others are optional. I'm going to write a basic greeting function. So the default value here, greeting equals hello. So the mandatory parameter is name here. And then we can go ahead and put a random name, Larry, run it, and then it's going to say hello Larry. So in this function, the name parameter, like I said, is non-negotiable. We equip the greeting parameter with a default value of hello, and it shows since we didn't provide the function with the greeting parameter. Now let's write some function calls with the greeting parameter customized. So we can do something like this. Give the name James, and the greeting, we can customize it to good morning. We do another one with the name of Bob, and then customize it with howdy. And then we can see the output, good morning James, howdy Bob. Output as expected. So this just shows that optional parameters make your functions flexible. You can handle a wide array of different situations without needing to write many separate functions. When calling a function with optional parameters, you can explicitly specify which parameter you're providing a value for by using what's called keyword arguments. For instance, in our previous function, if we execute this, greet, name equals David, greeting equals salutations. So we are specifying the parameters. So whenever you see this equals, it signifies a keyword argument. Python also allows you to define functions that accept a variable number of arguments. You can use *args to collect positional arguments into a tuple, and 2 *kwargs to collect keyword arguments into a dictionary. And I'll show you that here in a second. So we could do a function called flexible function with parameters args and kwargs. And then inside that function, we'll go ahead and type in print positional arguments to show the args and then the keyword args. So and we call the function and put in, could do 1, 2, 3, do a keyword argument, name equals Timothy, age equals 32. Go ahead and run this, and as you can see, the positional arguments is a tuple of 1, 2, 3, and then the keyword arguments is a dictionary containing the keyword arguments, name Timothy, age 32. So to combine everything we just learned, let's create an example function that creates a user profile with optional interests. So let's go ahead and write the function to create a user profile. And the user profile could have name, age, occupation, and here we go ahead and write a keyword argument, an optional argument of student to default to student. Interest is equal to none. So like I had mentioned previously, you want to initialize lists and dictionaries, which are mutable, to none here, if you're going to put it as a default parameter. And like we had learned in a previous video, we create a docstring here. So the purpose creates a user profile with optional interests. And then we talk about the different arguments. So name, the string, the user's name, and we say it's required. Age, it's an integer, the user's age. Also mentioned it's required. Occupation, it's a string, optional, the user's occupation, and it defaults to student. Interests, list, also optional, a list of the user's interests, defaults to none. We end the docstring. Okay, now when I had mentioned previously, we want to create a conditional, and if it's none for interest, then we create an empty list. So if interest is none, interest is equal to an empty list. So right here, this ensures that each call to the function gets a fresh empty list for interest, preventing any unintended side effects. Now we create the dictionary of our profile. So we can put name, age, occupation, interests, and close the dictionary. And then we're just gonna end the function with just to return the profile. So let's run this and see if everything is good to go. Okay, no errors. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to create 3 users. So user 1 is equal to, and we type in the function here, and same name as before, Larry, he's 25 years old, electrician, and interests are reading and hiking. We can create another user, same thing as before. To do this a little quicker, I will copy and paste this twice to create 3 users. So user 2, do James, change it to 18. And here I'm just going to end it here. I'm going to end it. I'm not going to add an occupation or interest, because those are optional values and it should still work. And then do user 3. We'll say Bob. We'll have him be 30. And we won't include the occupation, but what we will do is input a keyword argument here of interest is equal to, and we'll just do grilling and exercising. Should work. Yeah, it should work. Go ahead and run that. Okay, no errors. Now I'm just gonna print all these. Print user 1, user 2, user 3. Run that, and we see 3 dictionaries. As you can see, user 2 has an empty interest list since none was specified, and user 3 had the expected output from the keyword argument. So both of these did not have occupations, and it was defaulted to student. And interest here, keyword argument, it was specified here, but here it was none. So that's why we get the output that we do. So to recap, we explored default values and optional parameters to add flexibility and adaptability to your code. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.